SMT Nation, we back. Big news coming out of T-Mobile. Let me get you guys up to speed on what's happening here. We have essentially T-Mobile uh, making a deal with some companies that own 600 megahertz spectrum licenses. For those of you that don't know what this is, 600 megahertz licenses are essentially the lifeblood of T-Mobile's coverage. 600 megahertz is their band 71 N71 coverage band for their network. This is what was giving, I guess, T-Mobile the disadvantage compared to their competitors for the better part of the last decade. And then in 2016 and 2017, they were able to secure licenses in 600 megahertz and start building out a low band network that would really supplement, their existing network and give them true coverage. Previous to that, they only had some band 12 across the country. I think 5 megahertz of it, and it was a very poor experience. To today, their 5 megahertz of band 12 is horrible and awful, but the 600 megahertz now becomes a much more complete, thorough, and capacitive coverage layer. So let's see what T-Mobile did here by making this transaction happen. Overall, they're going to be spending $3.5 billion in this deal. It gives them an additional 10 to 30 megahertz of spectrum depth for their N71 deployment. It's probably not going to be put to LT use in most cases. I could see it potentially happening, but it would behoove them to put it on 5G as they claim they are the 5G company. So that's where I think it's probably going to go. Markets included in this are very, very large markets, all right, major markets, top 10 type markets. LA, San Francisco, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Boston, DC, Philly, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix. There are many more, and they are all major markets. This essentially gives them one third additional 600 megahertz license coverage across the US, and it's going to be a lot of places that have dense populations. So this is going to do two things. It's going to supplement their existing 600 megahertz holdings and provide capacity. And it's also going to shore up their, what I think is one of their issues, which is cell edge performance. A lot of times, because of the lack of spectrum that's connecting between two sites that are on edge, right, neighboring cells, this may be a difference maker for them in that respect. I believe the purchases were made through 51 license and LB license. This is according to friend of the channel, Roger Etner. He reported on this. He broke the story. I don't see it anywhere else. So to give him credit and kind of thank him for this update, this is a huge development for T-Mobile. In fact, here is the document of the application here with Peter Osvaldik, who is the Chief Vice President and CFO Financial Officer of T-Mobile. And it's dated August 9th, 2022, the time of this recording. And I think essentially it was notarized as well. So what we get with this form in the securities exchange here, the commission will approve this, and then these licenses will be transferred ownership to T-Mobile. This has always been an area of contention for customers when analyzing and evaluating networks. T-Mobile for the longest time always trailed Verizon and AT&T because of low band coverage. And now T-Mobile has not only done that with 600 megahertz previously, but with this, it enhances their coverage. There are situations where T-Mobile's N41 has shown congestion. I haven't seen it in my market, but we have seen it come up in very densely populated, large market cities. And this is going to help. That's a deep 5G low band channel configuration. You can't do it with NSA. You can't go deeper than the 20 megahertz channel. So they'll be able to go 20 in its current NSA iteration, but with standalone 5G, seeing carrier aggregation of low bands becomes a realistic possibility. And you can go deeper in channel depth too. Right. So if they have, for example, a place where T-Mobile only has 10 by 10 N71 and they get an additional 10 megahertz, that's going to be huge for them. And in places where they already have 20 megahertz, now they're going 30, 40, maybe 50, who knows, right? But with SA 5G, this couldn't come at a better time, right? And this has probably been in the works for a while. They've probably been in negotiations, working on deals behind closed doors, and now it's kind of come to fruition. Also, keep in mind, simultaneously, currently, right now, as we speak, the auction, Spectrum Auction 108 for the N41 2.5 gigahertz, that seems to be playing out quite nicely for T-Mobile to their advantage. The supply and demand is about the same. They're essentially competing with themselves. So they're going to be getting the 2.5 gigahertz on the cheap, right? They're not really getting pressured or pushed by anyone else. So they're going to shore up their licenses for the 2.5 gigahertz in those white space areas. They've got more of the N71, the 600 megahertz here in some pretty crucial places that are really going to help their network. This has pretty much become the summer of T-Mobile. Their spectrum deficiencies, their spectrum issues are improving substantially. Remember, Dish owns a lot of 600 megahertz. A lot of these other institutions and firms have owned 600 megahertz from the days where it kind of moved away from TV broadcasting and moved towards cellular when it was reauctioned. And T-Mobile did a nice job to get a lot of it, but here's more of it. And they definitely, most definitely could use it, in my opinion. And it can help. There are some places where their tower density is not great, and this is a welcomed addition and supplement to their network. I'm actually really glad about this, and I'm super happy because this is going to improve their network. And I don't have a comprehensive list as to all the markets. Those were some of the ones that Roger named. But there'll be more, and I'll do a follow-up story, and we'll see where the reach is, and we'll see if we can get a maybe a map or something of where these licenses will be the most beneficial and impactful in the positive way. Comment down below, you all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Tell me what you think about this update and what this does for T-Mobile. Love to hear what you guys have to say on this. Like, share, subscribe for more. Turn on the bell notification icon to never miss an upload. Links in the description for my Twitter handle, as well as my Gmail address for all business inquiries, and my Patreon page is there if you want to support us and get early access to content and exclusives not found anywhere else. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Peace.